Hello everyone, it's Anastasia from digitaljunkjournals.com, and in today's video I'm going to be making a collage using Canva. I tried to keep myself from overthinking this one, so it's going to move fast and quick. So I've placed a color palette on the canvas so I can pull the colors from it later on, and I'm dragging over a vintage, I guess it's wallpaper, something that I found on pixabay.com, and that will be part of my background. And now I'm going into the color selector, and it's picked up the colors from the color palette, so I'm just picking one that's reddish brown. And then I'm going back to the vintage paper and adjusting the opacity so it picks up a little of the background color. And that'll be the base for my background. This is a vintage book cover. It's a scan of the book cover, and I'm pretty sure I found it on archive.org. And I found this vintage hummingbird image on pixabay.com. I picked it because it's a topaz hummingbird. Topaz is one of the birthstones for November. Canva recently changed some of their menus, so now the filter menu and the remove background and all that stuff is all under edit image. So I'm just adjusting some of the colors of the image element. It just makes them look a little more cohesive and like they're one part of the page instead of different parts. These tickets I actually found in Canva in their free image elements collection. They added a bunch of new stuff recently, including a lot of paper items, which is really great for me because I'm always looking for more vintage looking paper elements. So I tried to prep and add all of my image elements into one folder to make it easier on myself, but there's some stuff I needed that were in my other folder collection. So here I'm looking through my watercolor and paint backgrounds, and I have this one that I love that is available on Pixabay, and I'm just adding it back there. It has similar colors to my color palette without being an exact match. And I'm again adjusting the colors of that background page to make it work a little bit better with the rest of the images on the canvas. Now I'm going back to my November folder and I'm adding this heart, which is a topaz heart. At least that's what it said on Pixabay when I found it. And adjusting the colors again using a filter. This is another vintage wallpaper, maybe. I think I got this one from the New York Public Library digital collections. So you can use the position menu to adjust where things are in layers on the canvas, or you can use keyboard shortcuts. I tend to use keyboard shortcuts in real life, but for videos I try to remember to use the position menu. It doesn't always work out. Here's my flowers collection, just dragging in a gold leaf, which I found on Pixabay. Works really well for the theme of November, plus the colors on the canvas. And if I use the same image element multiple times in the same collage, I try to change the second one by flipping it or rotating it or changing the color slightly. That way it's not an exact copy. So I've added another ticket, and you can see I've adjusted them slightly behind the hummingbird. And now I'm adding in some fall leaves or autumn leaves, which I got from Pixabay. I think they must have been recently added because I haven't seen them before. And I check pretty frequently for like flowers and plants and stuff like that because I always need more. And you can see I've duplicated it and then added it on the other side, but focused on the orange flower or the orange leaf instead of the red leaf. So whenever you like something on Canva, it gets placed into a likes folder. This is just my collection of things that I've, liked on Canva. This is a tag that I found on Canva. You can see on this page here where it says photos, all that stuff is new. I haven't seen that before. So I, of course, had to add some onto my collage. So I picked a stamp and I'm just adding it behind the heart there. And now I'm picking a vintage postcard. This is the back of the postcard. I'm going to use this as the base for my title for the collage. At first I thought I wanted another block of color to go behind the title, so I just used the same reddish brown color as the very back of the background. But I ended up deleting that because I didn't need it. Sometimes that happens, and that's what's nice about making a digital collage is you can delete stuff as you see fit. In other collages, I've done parts of a quote or something like that, but for this one, I'm just going to keep it simple and just put November. I have my favorite font saved as part of my brand identity. This is a feature for Canva Pro accounts. If you don't have a Canva Pro account, you can still use whatever font you want. You just have to individually select it whenever you add text onto your collage. Now it's time to add some embellishments. So these are some things that I've just saved over the years. These are from Canva's free image collection. I think they're just paint blobs, something like that. You can see I've duplicated it, rotated it, flipped it, and then moved it up, so it's not an exact copy of that first one. These are some pin scratches, just adding it on top. I like adding paint blobs and pen marks and things like that, ink splotch. It makes it look more visually interesting, at least to me. Now I'm adding in a coffee ring. These are some doodle elements. These ones are nice because you can change the color. So I'm changing these little triangles to match the background color and carry it through the rest of the piece. So I'm duplicating these and adding them at different points in the collage. For some things, I don't rotate or flip. It's in a straight line. You don't have to because it looks the same no matter what you do. Duplicating the coffee ring, adding it up there. I'm just trying to make sure that all the colors flow throughout the entire collage and not just have one particular color in one particular spot. These are just some final touches. I'm moving stuff around, adjusting how it fits onto the rest of the piece. I recommend not obsessing too much about the little details like this. If you worry too much about the small stuff, you'll spend all your time trying to fix something that doesn't need fixed and not enough time making new pieces of art. That little tan area looks pretty blank, so I'm just duplicating that pin scratch and adding it more like a texture rather than a grunge element. That's why I changed it to white and then adjusted the opacity so it just barely shows up. It looks more interesting over there now, but you're not focused on that pin scratch. I'm changing the filter color for the hummingbird. Previously it was more yellow and it blended in with the rest of the piece, but I've decided that I want to make the hummingbird the focus. So I'm changing the filter to brighten it, and then I'm also changing the size to make it a little bit larger and stand out better on the page. It's at this point that I realized I forgot to center my title, so I'm just fixing that now. Canva has guidelines that pop up whenever you move an element around on the page. It helps you either center it or change the spacing between elements to make it easier. And here I've just deleted that colored block behind the title and decided to increase the font size and change the font color to match the rest of the piece instead of just being stark white. And the final edit is to change those little triangle doodles to white instead of that brown color and make them pop a little bit more. Just gives it a little bit more visual interest. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment, give a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be making more videos on how to make digital art journals in Canva and Procreate, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. Bye!